Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest video for the channel. We're going to do another index review. It's from Index Imperium 2. It's going to be for the Talons of the Emperor, so Adeptus Custodes and the Sisters of Silence. Decided to do this one for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously awesome models that a lot of people have probably already got in their armies or will want to get in their armies soon. Number two, I haven't seen many, if any, reviews out there yet. I'm sure there are some, I just haven't seen them, but I haven't seen many, so obviously it'd be nice to go through it for everybody. Also, if you've just got a squad of Custodes and a squad of Sisters, or even just one of each, you might want to know the rules, but obviously, you know, £15 for the index. So if you don't have any of the rest of these armies, but you have the you have, like, say, one or two of those units, then it'd be a good way to know the rules beforehand. So we're going to dive into it now. There's just a few units for each army, obviously, so we'll go through those that we can and go from there. So just got to find them first. Sororitas. There we go. So, first one is the Sisters of Silence we're going to go through. Really cool piece of artwork here of all of the sisters. So we've got a nice kind of halo of light behind a fight in the darkness. Got a cool bit of background here, which is nice to read because obviously they're still reasonably new in modern day 40k. As in they're expanding on them, but they're also sort of brought them in new. So it's quite nice to read the background. There's lots of new stuff there, like there is with the 8th Ed background, because obviously it's all new, it's been expanded, rather than sort of retelling the old background. So some cool background to read there. They do have some rules. So the following abilities are common to many Sisters of Silence units, so not necessarily every one, but 90%. So one is Witch Hunters, which is you can reroll failed wound rolls for this unit when it attacks Psykers in the fight phase. Something that would very much benefit Sisters as a one-off unit, or maybe two in your army. You have a 2,000 point Astra Militarum army, for argument's sake, and you have one or two units of Sisters as a elite combat counter-attack, and potentially then go hunting Psykers. Obviously it is good as an army, but you're unlikely to face an army of Psykers, so not every unit needs it. It's a pretty cool rule. And then Psychic Abomination. This unit can never be targeted or affected by psychic powers in any way. In addition, enemy psychics must subtract 1 from any psychic tests or deny the witch tests they take for each unit with this ability within 18 inches of them to the maximum of -4. Note, however, this ability has no effect while the unit is embarked in transport. So that's a really cool rule as well. To be able to be immune to all psychic effects is brilliant, especially if you happen to play someone like Eldar, who have lots of tricksy ways of minusing your leadership, or minusing your armor save, or minusing attacks, or whatever it is. That's really useful to have. Also, the minuses within 18 inches for casting psychic powers and denying the witch. That's actually a really good one if you have got an army of them, because potentially you could have 3 or 4 nearby, and all of a sudden, they're trying to cast a power on 7, which is the average roll on 2 dice, but also when you're minusing 3 or 4 off it, they've actually got to roll really well just to get a basic power off. So it's quite a cool little rule. Okay, so into the units. So we've got 3 elite units, a transport, and that's it. So they're all elite, so obviously you'd have to take a certain formation if you were using this as an army, but if you're using them within your Imperial armies, then obviously these guys can just go sort of, or ladies, sorry, can fit in as an elite choice. So you've got Prosecutors first. So they're movement 7, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 3+ save. Now that's actually, I believe, looking at it, universal for the Vigilators and the Witchseekers as well. So that's the stat line for all of the Sisters. The Sister Superior gains 1 attack and 1 leadership over the basic troops. So there you go. So that's the stat lines for all 3 units done, and they're all elite choices. So that's quite easy. They do go up in power rankings though, so it'll be quite interesting to see if they get better. They should do in theory. So the first unit contains 1 Sister Superior and 4 Prosecutors. It can include up to 5 additional Prosecutors. they come bolt gun and psych out grenades. So the bolt gun's your standard bolt gun, 24 inches, rapid fire 1, strength 4, damage 1, no AP, no abilities. So standard stuff. Psych out grenade is 6 inches, grenade D3, so D3 explosions if you like. Strength 2, so obviously very low strength, AP dash, damage 1, but each time you roll a hit of 6 plus for this weapon, when targeting a psych or a demon, the target suffers more wounds instead of normal damage. So it's not going to happen too much on 6 plus, but at least it's expanded to psych or demon. Just makes it a little bit more plausible that you'll be facing one of those foes. The abilities are Psychic Abomination, Witch Hunters. They also have Prosecution Protocols. Models in this unit can target enemy characters that are Psychers even if they're not the closest enemy unit. So, you know, you've got a lot of weak Psychers in the game. You've got really tough ones. Magnus the Red comes to mind, people like that. Araman's pretty tough. But you've got a lot of weak ones. You've got Primaris Psychers for the Guard. You've got Aldar Warlocks who are pretty weak. So it is nice you can target them. Having that, even though they're just bolt guns, you know, you've got 1 shot or 2 at short range. You could well still get them in trouble with a full squad. So that's not too bad. But they're kind of like a tactical squad without the weapon options. Like they've got the 2 attacks, which is nice, but they are strength and toughness 3. So yeah, they move quite fast, movement 7. So they're okay. How many points are Prosecutors? Let's find out. Hopefully not too much, because like I say, they're okay, but they're reasonably weak. System silence. So Prosecutors, 12 points. It's not too bad. You get 10 of those for 120 points. You know, that's pretty steady. I'd be happy with that. They don't stand out, but they're nice and steady. Vigilators, so same stat line. Again, you can have up to 10, but they come with an Executioner Great Blade and Psych Out grenades. So the Psych Out grenades we know about. We also know about Psychic Abomination and Witch Hunters. So the only new thing is the Executioner Great Blade. Obviously a melee weapon, strength +1, which is big, going to strength 4. A lot of armies and marines having that force to wounds, nice. Just helps you a little bit. Obviously pushes up that 6s to wound as well to toughness 8, which you're not really going to take on anyway. AP -3, which is good, basically standard power weapon. And damage D3, which is also nice. So you're averaging 2 damage. So 10 of these charge in, 20 attacks, hit on 3s, 15 hits. Against Marines, 7, 8 wounds, something like that. Obviously the D3 doesn't really come in unless you're fighting characters and things, or multi-wounds, but there are more of that nowadays. So they could slice up Primaris, for instance. They would averagely kill them in 1 blow, because they'd average you roll 2, so they're not too bad. Vigilators are 11 points, so they're a point cheaper, but I imagine I have to pay for some stuff this time, whereas I didn't with the other unit. The Great Blade, oh there it is, sorry. 8 points, so they become actually 19. As long as you've got a good delivery system for them, I'm pretty happy to pay 19 points. Again, on the receiving end, toughness 3, 1 wound, 3 plus save. They're not brilliant, but offensively they're quite nasty. And obviously, again, they've got those Psychic Abomination and Witch Hunter rules, which make them, you know, pretty solid, to be fair. So not too bad at all. I think they are better than the Prosecutors, just because these ones actually have a determined role. They will kill a lot of stuff in combat. There aren't many things they won't have a decent shot against in combat. Whereas the Prosecutors have bolt guns, which is fine, but they don't have special or heavy weapons. So unlike a tactical squad, you can't go, well, I've just got plain bolt guns, but I've also got a flamer. So if you're a horde, or I've got a las cannon for your tanks, it's just bolt guns. So Witchseekers, they're an elite, but they're power 5, so they're actually the most expensive. So stat line's the same again. Again, you can include up to 5 additional ones. Psych Out grenades, Psychic Abomination, Witch Hunters, it's all there. But they have flamers. So it's an 8-inch range, assault D6, strength 4, AP dash damage 1, and it automatically hits its target. So basically you're paying for a squad of flamers. I mean, it can work very well, because if you can get them in a transport like the Rhino we're going to come on to, you know, that's a lot of hits. If you get a 10 lady or woman Witchseeker unit out of a Rhino and Flame, I mean 10d6, I mean obviously you're not actually going to roll 60, but potentially of up to 60, but even averagely you're going to roll, we're going to roll 5 times 7, so 35. You know, it's it's a lot of, and that's a lot of hits, because obviously they auto hit. So all of a sudden then you're winning on 4, even against Marines you're pumping out 18 wounds. So yeah, it's not too bad. How much are they? They're 11 points plus their flamer of 9, so they're 20. Flame is quite expensive, but it's not too bad. I'd be reasonably happy to take them. Again, they have to have a transport because they're flamers. Obviously, there's no point in them being on foot. But considering they can get out, and it is an assault weapon, so they can charge if anything's left after that. So, you know, you flame an average tactical squad, you're probably going to kill 5, then charge. You know, you've got 2 attached to their 1, but they're stronger and tougher, so you'll probably knock out an equal amount each, say 2 dead each. All of a sudden, at 10, they've only got 3 left, and you've got 8. So it can work quite nicely as a bit of a counterattack. A cool unit to maybe have someone like Guard, or Astromesarum, just because you could hide them behind the main line and wait for that unit. Instead of having Ogringe, you could have that, wait for them to come up, and then charge forward and try and wreck whatever unit's about to hit you. So not too bad. We've then got the Null Maiden Rhino. So it seems pretty much the same as a normal Rhino. So you've got weapon skill 6+, strength 6, toughness 7, 10 wounds, leadership 8, 3+ save. Obviously, like all vehicles, a lot tougher these days, Rhinos. On remaining wounds, as you go down, you go movement 12, 6, 3, ballistic skill 3, 4, 5, and attacks 3, D3, 1. So. But it's really just the toughness 7, 10 wounds, 3+ save we're interested in, because it's a transport, so all that matters is it survives as it goes across the board. So it's got a Storm Bolter, which is just a bolt gun with rapid fire 2, so standard stuff. Can have a Hunter Killer Missile, which is 48 inches, heavy 1, strength 8, AP -2, D6 damage, and it can only be fired once per battle, so we'll see how many points that is. It will do a decent amount of damage, but obviously as a one-off, and you've maybe taken some damage, you might be hitting on 4s, it's a little risky. So abilities, it can explode like all vehicles. It can use smoke launchers. So anyone who hasn't seen smoke launchers, you can pop them instead of shooting, and it's -1 to hit you. So it's not too bad. That first turn, surge up the board, pop smoke, and then next turn you can move them up, get the Witchseekers out, burn whoever's there, or get the Vigilators out and charge, hopefully. And self-repair, roll a d6 at the start of each of your turns. On a 6, you regain a wound. So, you know, again, if it survives 3 turns, or you need it to survive 3 turns to move up the board, there's a 50% chance it gets a wound back. So considering it's got 10, makes it pretty durable. You can carry 10 Sisters of Silence, so you can carry a full squad. No hero, though, if you can have a full squad. Although they haven't got any heroes at the moment anyway. The Rhino is 70 points, 2 points to the Storm Bolter, and 6 to the Hunter Killer. So it's 78 if you have everything. I think it's well worth having the Hunter Killer, to be honest, because you can pretty much guarantee you're going to be on ballistic skill 3+, because you're going to fire it first turn anyway. You're hitting on 3s. If you're hitting on 4s and it was 50-50, even though it's cheap, you know, maybe pay the points elsewhere. But it gives you a bit of anti-tank, especially if you're fielding plenty of these. Obviously, there isn't a lot of anti-tank in these squads. But if you had 5 Rhinos, and they all went up first turn and fired 5 Hunter Killers, you can do some pretty decent damage to something. So I'd be quite tempted to take them, to be honest, for 6 points. It's not a lot to pay for. I know you can't one-shot anything anymore, really, but you potentially do 5-6 wounds on something that's pretty good. Hitting on 3s, so it's not too bad. So obviously they're reasonably expensive now, 78 points, but they're so much more survivable. I think vehicle's really worth it in this edition. Even a Rhino that can't really do anything outside of that transport ability and the Hunter Killer, I think it's still without doubt worth it. So that's the Sisters of Silence. Not a lot of choice, as we sort of know, but some good promise there, especially from the Vigilators and the Witchseekers. The Rhino and the Prosecutors are solid. Hopefully these ladies will be getting some more units, but almost more units really. I'd like another vehicle or 2, and certainly some characters to start buffing and start getting aura abilities on them. I think that'd be really cool. But especially as a one-off unit in an army, just to provide a bit of anti-psyker, a bit of combat ability, or a bit of shooting, a bit of counter-attack. They're certainly good enough to do that. Okay, so we're going to go to the Adeptus Custodes next. Okay, again a page of background for them. So 3 units this time, so even more straightforward if you like, really. You've got a Land Raider, a Contemptor Dreadnought, they're both venerable, and you've got the Custodian Guard. So let's go through the Custodian Guard because they're the main one. Movement 6, Weapon Skill 2+, Ballistic Skill 3+, Strength, Toughness 5, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, Leadership 8, 2+ save. Shield Captain gets an extra Leadership and an extra attack. I think that's it. Yeah. So obviously really nice solid stat line, having Strength and Toughness 5, having 3 wounds, 3 attacks. Obviously not many people have 3 attacks nowadays, it's usually 2. So that's really good. You get 4 Custodians and a Shield Captain, and you can include up to 5 additional Custodians. They can have their Guardian Spear, in which case it's Rapid Fire 1, Strength 4, AP -1, Damage 2. So nice, it's got Damage 2. And in combat it's +1 Strength, so there'll be Strength 6, AP -3, Damage D3. So obviously that's really brutal as well in combat. Basically a power weapon with D3 damage. You can also have this Sentinel Blade, which shooting is Pistol 2, Strength 4, AP -damage 1. Or a Sentinel Blade Melee, which is a power weapon with D3 damage, so you don't get the +1 strength. Now you can have a power knife, or do they just come with a power knife as well? No, come on with the Guardian Spear. So the power knife is AP -2, damage 1, but a model equipped with a Sentinel Blade and power knife can make an additional attack, so it's the guys who are kind of ambidextrous to attacks. So plenty of options there. Good for anti-infantry, good for character killing, good for monster killing. Not much on tanks, but you don't expect that from Custodians. They have a 5+ invulnerable save, which makes them even tougher. They can have a 3+ invulnerable save if they have a Storm Shield. The Custodians Vexilia, you can reroll failed morale tests for friendly Imperium units within 6 inches of a model equipped with the Custodian Vexilia. In addition, you can make 1 additional attack in the fight phase for all models in this unit while he is alive. So 1 extra attack, so 4 attacks each, 5 for the Shield Captain, and boosting up Imperial units near you. You can see why these guys are obviously good as an army, but also good boosting up Imperial units and their troops. So it's not even like they take up an expensive slot. So you can replace your Guardian Spear with any of the other combat units, obviously. You can have a Vexilia. You can take a Storm Shield if you drop your Spear. So let's see how much these bad boys are. We all knew they were going to be pretty brutal, really. So let's see how much they cost. Just pull the Necrons. Go. So they're 40 points each. So you do pay a decent cost for them. Do their weapons cost anything? 12 points. So it's 52 if you want a Guardian Spear, 45 if you want a Power Knife, and 49 if you want a Sentinel Blade. If you want a Vexilia, it's 25 points, but well worth it for those abilities, because you only have 1 a squad anyway. And 5 points for a Storm Shield, which is a steal. To get +2 to your invulnerable save is 5 points. I know you have to team it with a weapon, but I think that's really good. Just have a couple at the front, tank some hits. It's nice. So the average Custode is actually going to be about 50 points. You're paying about 50 points a Custode, but they're well worth it. As we've said, they're really tough to bring down. Toughness 5, 3 wounds, 2 up save. Tough to break at Leadership 9. They're hitting on 2s with Weapon Skill, 3+ Ballistic Skill. They can deal with anything outside a vehicle, really. So they're well worth it. I would 100% recommend the Vexilia. Get that guy in your squads, every one of your squads. A couple of Storm Shields per squad just to soak up some of those hits. And pretty much everyone else with a Guardian Spear, because it's better in combat and better at shooting. You just don't get the 3+ invuln. So, Venerable Contemptors. Strength 7, Toughness 7, 10 wounds, 4 attacks, Leadership 8, 3+ save. Movement goes 9, 6, 4, Weapon Skill goes 2, 3, 4+, and Ballistic Skill goes 2, 3, 4+. So starting on 2s, which is great, never worse than 4+. 10 wounds, which is nice, 3 up save, Toughness 7, pretty good all round. He has a combat weapon, Mighty Mauer and Combi Bolter. The combi bolter we've been through. You can have a Carey's pattern assault cannon, favourite of the last edition. 24 inches, heavy 6, strength 7, AP -1, damage 1. So nice spray of fire, pretty good all rounder, can hurt pretty much anything in the game. But anything too heavily armoured, it's not going to do great against. Got a multi-mouser, which is 24-inch range, heavy 1, strength 8, AP -4, D6 wounds. Roll 2, pick the highest if you're in half range for damage. Obviously the opposite, really good against tanks, not that much good against other stuff. So, well, monster creatures is pretty good. So they're kind of the opposite of each other. So you could combi, have one of each in your army. Dreadnought combat weapon makes him strength 14, because it's not capped at 10 anymore, so strength 14, jeez. AP -3 and damage 3. So the combat weapon's brilliant. He has got 4 attacks as well. So that's really nice. He has Aegis of the Emperor, so 5% vulnerable save. Unyielding Ancient, roll a d6 each time this model loses a wound. On a 6 the damage is ignored. Brilliant, so 1 in 6 won't do anything. And explodes as well. Finally we have the Venerable Land Raider. So he's strength 8, toughness 8, 16 wounds, leadership 9, 2+ save. So good leadership, loads of wounds, toughness 8 as well, 2+ save. Absolute tank, as it should be. Incredibly hard to kill. Movement goes 10, 5, 3. Ballistical 2, 3, 4. Attack 6, D6, 1. To get 6 attacks in combat to start with and runs you over. We've covered Hunter Killer Missile, Storm Bolter. Twin Heavy Bolters, 36 inches, heavy 6, strength 5, -1, damage 1. Heavy Bolter's got way better in the new edition. More shots. You get the -1 AP. It's nice. Twin Last Cannons, 2 shots, strength 9. AP -3, damage D6, very cool. 5% vulnerable save. Machine Spirit means they don't suffer the penalty to hit rolls for moving and firing heavy weapons, so that's got a little bit worse. I prefer the split fire, but it's still pretty good. Unyielding Ancient, roll a d6 each time this model loses a wound. On a 6 the damage is ignored and that wound is lost. It's not lost, so again 1 in 6 nothing happens. Smoke launches and explodes. So it can also protect itself with smoke. So that's the review of the Custodians and the Sisters, guys. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Help me do more videos. Let me know that you're enjoying it. Comment as well on what you think of the Custodians and the Sisters. Let me know what you're thinking of putting in your army. How good you think they'll be, even if you don't play them. Let me know about some of the stuff I brought up, whether you agree. And look out for more index reviews soon. I think the Custodians are absolutely brick. I think you can run an army of them because you can get them in the Land Raider, and you've got the Contemptors, and they can deal with everything, and they're so hard to kill. They are quite expensive, but that's not a problem. It means you don't have to spend loads of money. The Sisters, I think, at the moment, until they get more characters and vehicles, are an ally, not really an army of their own, although you could ally with them Custodians. But that's just my thoughts, so let me know what you think, and comment below, like and subscribe, and watch out for the next video, and I will talk to you all soon.